Single rate rise could put people to the wall. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee. We're going to look at a bit of interest rate fear. You know, rates rising, fear coming this time from Domain because, well, people are worried about it. But also, people want there to be a correction in the market. They want people to be to the wall so property will become more affordable. I think it's turning into a lot of hopium, to be honest, for some people. I don't see I don't see our government letting it happen. Okay, so let's look at this. A single mortgage rate rise would put 1 in 20 homeowners into financial hardship, a survey shows. So 1 in 20. That's not very many, guys. That's 5%. Okay, 5%. A single mortgage rate rise would be enough to push 1 in 20 homeowners into financial hardship, a new survey shows, as ongoing lockdowns hit the saving buffers of those who've lost work during the pandemic. Now, let's have a look at a few things. Okay, I'm going to bring a definition here for housing stress. Everyone, I'll make sure that's selected, and we'll bring this one up here. What we have here, housing stress, is typically described as lower income households that spend more than 30% of their gross income on housing costs. Now, if we look at the actual, well, what a lower income house is, we're seeing 433 here in Australia is low income. Now, if you're in middle income, close to 900 a week, higher income over $2,000, you're not going to feel as stressed if you're spending 30% of your money there. This housing stress that they keep talking about, mortgage stress, that type of thing, it's mainly for the lower income people. How many of those do you think have mortgages? I know there's all this hoo-ha about lending standards, but... So, a home loan rate hike would plunge 5% of borrowers into financial hardship and leave them requiring financial assistance, according to a national survey by comparison website Finder. The survey of almost 600 Australians found these borrowers felt they would need assistance if their current home loan interest rate increased out of cycle ahead of any changes to the cash rate by the Reserve Bank of Australia. Okay, so these are people specifically with mortgages. Another 53% of respondents said they would try to negotiate a lower rate with their lender. A quarter would refinance to another lender, while fewer than 1 in 5 borrowers said they would take no action. The proportion of homeowners facing financial hardship with a rate rise was likely to have increased since the survey in late July, said Kate Brownie, a personal finance expert at Finder. It would rise further still as lockdowns continued, as those who lost work and those who've cut back on work to homeschool children struggled to make ends meet. Now, here's another thing I want to show you. Negative equity is down. Home loan prepayments are pretty high, everyone. You've got household liquidity buffers for indebted homeowners of 4 months. You've got 10 months there with outright homeowners. Even renters have months of liquidity buffers. So we've got 5% here that could be to the wall, that an interest rate rise. Is that different to normal? Is that so unusual? You're always going to have a proportion of the people who are terrible at managing money or just who've fallen on hard times. But what's different now is that the government has shown that they'll come to the rescue, everyone. We've got Home Builder. We've got, debt to the moon. So do you need to... I can't believe I'm going to say this. Do you need to prepare for the tough times or just have enough of a liquidity buffer until the government gets bullied enough into handing out the free money? What do you think? Australia in 2021. So, the financial health of Australians has been knocked around over the past 18 months, with many entering current lockdowns with very little reserves, she said. There's a risk this further economic shock could lead to Australians falling behind on their mortgage payments if they don't have adequate support. Well, see, here we go. So is this another piece to try and plant the seeds for more government support, more stimulus? I think a lot of the stuff we looked at last year with the predictions of 40% interest rate falls from the RBA, or even other decreases in house values. I think that was not done to to allow our politicians to go as crazy as they have. Already almost 24,000 people accessed a range of bank support measures between early July and early August, with more than 14,500 home loans deferred. Figures from the ABA showed more than 10,450 of the deferrals made between July 8 and August 1 were in New South Wales, compared to almost 500,000 home loans which deferred at the peak of the crisis in 2020. Well, yes, I'll bring this up here. We can see, everyone, how this is nothing. What we're talking about here is nothing compared to what happened. You're talking over $250 billion of home loan deferrals, everyone. This is barely a blip. So, a growing number of people have also been considering refinancing in recent months. So is this the reason of the article? Is this why they're writing this? Ms. Brown said, as lockdowns prompt them to reassess their financial situation. And that's smart. I've said this over and over again, that this lockdowns, this intervention, may be the first chance people have to just step back. Maybe the only chance they will have to step back. The rise of some fixed-rate loans in recent months, headlines of future hikes to the cash rate, and strong offers from competing lenders have also played a role. Even people still employed and who are fairly stable financially are having a serious think about saving money, and this is one of the easiest ways they can save. Really eating in is probably for a lot of people too. Those borrowings unable to meet their mortgage repayments after losing work yet again due to COVID-19 are being referred to the Financial Rights Legal Centre, which offers advice and advocacy for those in need. A lot of people are getting referred to us by the banks, said Senior Policy and Communication Officer Julia Davis. Banks right now are happy to give out hardship assistance for people in good order, but for people who have been in hardship for the past 18 months, they're not willing to extend assistance the way they used to. So far, foreclosures have not been an issue. Ms. Davis said, but she felt a rate rise would push more than 5% of borrowers into hardship, given the levels of existing financial stress. She noted that about 40% of New South Wales households were in mortgage stress last month, according to data analyst by DFA. Now, here's the question. I'm not sure what definition they use. Martin uses at DFA for mortgage stress. Is it just 30% for everyone, or just the 30% for the lower income bracket? Because honestly, I suspect they're using 30% gross for everyone, not just 30% for lower. And that's one of the things why we keep hearing all these people in mortgage stress, and we're seeing it not manifest in anything. No movement of the property price, no fear or anything. So it's pretty tragic. Plenty of people who've called us were finally back on their feet in early 2021 and back to regular payments. Now they're back to having no income and can't afford anything, and the banks are sending them to us. Calls for help had eased when government support payments increased, but still remained high, Ms. Davis noted, adding the influx of calls received when additional restrictions were announced, such as the temporary ban on construction activity in New South Wales, showed many people had no savings buffer. Well, yeah, there's a significant portion of Australians that can't even raise $1,000. And we've covered that in videos. HSBC Australia Chief Economist Paul Bloxham said homeowners should not have to face rate hikes anytime soon, with both local and global interest rates likely to remain low for years to come. Interest rates are going to stay slow for quite some time. The RBA is still aligned on 2024 at the earliest, and those comments predate the most recent extended lockdowns and worsening economic conditions, he said, adding he did not expect rates to change at all on his forecast, which runs to the end of 2022. Low rates combined with government support payments and mortgage deferrals should help people stay in their homes, Mr. Bloxham said. He added that the overall labour market was faring better than expected as businesses looked ahead to life after lockdowns, but noted activity was down sharply. Now, I did a good news video about the net growth in the number of businesses. No one watched it, because no one watches good news. I did a good news video, okay, and there were tens of thousands, like over 80,000, 87,000 new businesses. Okay, that's great. That's good news. But that screams confidence to me, because I know people are saying, "Oh, it's just so they could take advantage of all of the handouts." You wouldn't meet the time bars. However, Mr. Bloxham warned he did not expect the economy to see another V-shaped bounce back post-lockdown, but a more drawn-out recovery that will require support of the ongoing monetary and fiscal policy. Given the strong competition in the home lending market, Finder's Kate Brown said anyone who did face a rate hike should try to negotiate with their lender. Ms. Davis added that anyone in financial stress should contact a free financial counselor to assess their options before refinancing. So there we have it, everyone. What do you think? Let's get on the soapbox. What's the lesson? What's the solution to this? This feels like more just interest rate rising fear to get the attention, to push people towards, places they can get financial support. Now, we're talking 5%. Sure, they could have an impact on the market if you start seeing mass sales, forced sales of these properties or foreclosures, but that's probably enough. The bank has enough liquidity buffers to just hold on to it for some time. I can't see it being a flood or really affecting the market that much. What do you think? If you're in that situation, everyone, you need to find a way to control your finances. And I've talked about this in other videos. Cut your debt, number one. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one in the comments down below. Do you think this is legitimate? Should we be concerned about it? Or is it just some good old domain property fear? As always, if you're a fan and enjoy the content, there are a few ways you can support us. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. Sign up for SelfWealth or Stake. Use our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. You can buy a merch at HeiseSays. Use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint or support us via PayPal. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.